Picket Duty by Legion Wargames. Kamikaze attacks against U.S. destroyers around Okinawa 1945. This is going to be a short video, and I'll explain why in a couple minutes. This is Solitaire, designed by Steve Dixon. He did B-29. He didn't do B-17, despite what I may have said in other videos regarding this game. So the situation is these destroyers are being sent out to kind of monitor and be bait for kamikazes. Kind of dangerous duty, supposedly. And again, we'll get into that more. We're looking like April to June or July of 1945 for this game. Here we can see the map. Absolutely beautiful. Lots of charts up here that are just kind of tracks, which I like how it's laid out. Works pretty well. We have our attack vectors here. We have our destroyer that we are occupying and commanding with the guns on it. We have a bag full of kamikaze. I surprisingly didn't pull the chit I was looking for, but really nice, huge chits, much like B-29 Babs. There's a Dave chit in here somewhere that I wanted to take a picture of. There it is. Hi, Dave. Maybe Dave will watch this. We'll see if we can shoot Dave down. So if you've played B-29 or B-17, it's actually pretty similar to that, which I was hoping it wasn't. Honestly, I haven't played B-17, but I have played B-29, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. And I was hoping this would be quite a bit different. Maybe it's not quite as different as I was expecting, or hoping, not expecting, but hoping. But it is different, and it's more engaging, I would say, in general. However, it's flawed, and I'll put that right up front, and then we'll play and see if what I've found is the case. So you have the rulebook, which a lot of people are having a lot of hard times with, apparently, according to some of the forums. I got most of what I needed to play the game out of it. There are a few questions for setup that aren't answered. Maybe some details that aren't quite flushed out, but it reads well, and you can follow along. With these kind of games, I don't try to memorize the rules. You're going to be following along anyway, so I read through the rules and took it at that. And we have our charts and scenarios. I want a poster of this, minus that, just black. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. Whoever did the art on it. Graphics, Randy Lean, Vincent Bourguignon, Steve Dixon, Philippe Santamaria. That's probably Felipe, excuse me, Felipe. They did a wonderful job. The graphics in this game are absolutely beautiful. I love this. So this is the charts and tables, and also the scenarios. So the issue up front is the intro scenario. The learning scenario is one phase. The game is broken down into turns, like most games. My nice blood blister there. Broken up into 3 phases: morning, noon, night. This is just a midday phase. I played this twice, and in both I got 0 kamikaze. So what do? You set it up and you play it again, but you're not really getting anything out of it. So maybe this needs to say, don't roll, just reference on, I think it's 7.4 or 8.1. Yeah, it's 8-1, table A, just reference or roll. I mean, you wouldn't be able to deal with this, but I rolled 8 once and 5 once on 2d6 and got no attacks. Or maybe 11, and I think it was 11 and 8 actually. But maybe just say C C10 on, or C7 on table A of table 8.1. I think that would be a more effective way to learn the game rather than getting it set up and then actually nothing happening. Okay, so that's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is a one-day scenario, May 27th, 1945, and you play morning, noon, and night. In this bag of chits, there are, and maybe I can get one this time, there are these attack ends. And according to the rules, an attack doesn't happen if you draw this during the attack. So if you remember on table A of 8.1, one of them requires you to draw 8. For all 3 phases of the game, I drew one of these in that phase. They get removed, and I think there are 5, so the odds aren't great, but it did happen, and that happened to me twice for scenario number 2. So there are some variants, quote unquote, online that people are saying, ignore the first one. If it happens on the second phase and third phase, then you ignore it, or then the attack ends. Also for the scenario 1, or I guess it was actually for all one-day scenarios, you ignore attack ends outright, which I think would probably be a good addition to the scenario book. Steve Dixon is rewriting the rules, or going to publish another set of rules to kind of fix some of people's issues. However, I would like scenarios updated or include variant rules for stuff like that in there. I didn't read the variants. I'm not a variant kind of guy. So I didn't even get there. But I don't think it's effective. I mean, they talk about using scenario 1 to learn, but if nothing happens in scenario 1, it's kind of pointless. We have a ship's log. We have a time record sheet, which are black and white for me right now. And then secondary compartments hit sheet, which kind of dives into more depth. These are color on nice thick cardstock. But you have to, it says right on them, make copies of this, which I've done, obviously. So I have the game set up, and we will just get right into it. I've already done this. There are these chits in a mug, and there go the kamikazes. Dive bombed off the table. You can see my game shelf isn't there. I built a new one. And it's pending moving upstairs, unfortunately. So for these guys, you pull a chit and denote the value in here, and that's going to come into play later, hopefully. So we'll do scenario 2. And again, it's one of those where we just follow along. We have the game setup done, sequence of play. So we need to roll to see. We have our duty station, and we're at duty station 5. So we need to determine the fighter direction team. That's 3.1. And I probably won't subject you to all of this, but it's, you look at the table, wherever it is, 3.1. We roll 2 dice. We roll a 4. No team assigned. So this would get added up here to the yes, but we're on the no, which gives us a minus modifier when we're checking for fighters. The next thing is surface fire support. Then we go to 4.1. We roll an 8. We have 2. So these are here, and then go up here in the available SFS. And next we, I think we get right into kamikazes. Land-based radar, we're not going to deal with. We're not playing the advanced game. So the first thing